Love at first sight and misery after 2 months. Always feeling fucked up either by love or no love. I thought you was married to the single life, she said. I wasn't necessarily looking for happiness, just less pain. I should have said something. You said the only thing wrong with money is you ain't have enough of it. You said you deserve better, and now so do I. Anyways, the best part of us was me. When you got with me, you were a genius. Now without me, you have to live life as an idiot. I don't write songs, I write life, I told you that. And you were only fucking with my feelings because you didn't know your own. I do miss who I thought you were. And sometimes I'm miserable without you. So it's just like you're still here. Shit. I need you to show me, love me closely. Love me like you own me in my heart. I need you to show me, love me closely. Love me like you own me in my heart.
Yeah. All right, we're back. Yo, a little chiller vibe today, I will say. You know, we got the VOD reviews on deck. I got some high quality stuff for you, some shit you can't find anywhere else. This will be the most high quality VOD review you've ever seen. All right, let's get right into it then.
This video covers the 8 keys to season 4 success, and these things are all just not really worth their own little videos.
Before I start though, let me just say, this is a secret VOD review session that only people that pay get to see. But I'm gonna show y'all because I'm gonna let y'all get a little glimpse into what we cook, you know, behind the scenes. Okay? So you can't find this anywhere unless you know where to find it. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. Let's start over.
This video covers the 8 keys to season 4 success, and these things are all just not really worth their own little videos. However, they're incredibly important for this season's meta. The first one is leaving your drop spot early enough. Now, one of the big problems with no mobility is zone RNG. Now, as you can see, this zone plays to the full top left of the map. Great drawing, I understand.
Okay, so that's a great point. Low mobility equals you don't want bad zone RNG. That makes total sense because if you get a max distance pull, what does that mean? It means you have to pull, you have to go that whole distance, obviously. And if you don't have mobility, that means you have to run the whole distance. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but at the same time, like, it really is exemplified during a low mobility meta. I swear I had like a low mobility section. Hold on, in my notes. Fuck. Whatever. I also have a so many notes. It's like hard to even know where everything goes. Whatever. Let's just start right here. Okay. Low mobility meta. You need to leave early when zone pulls far. Kind of an obvious point, but you know, it's good to write down. Oh fuck, I just lost my spot. Whatever, I'll find it.
So if you're a team who lands in like brawlers, that's the wrong thing. So if you're a team that lands in like brawlers, Olympus, even Glacier, if you don't have any mobility whatsoever, you could be...
Timeout. He literally just named 3 spots I main. You know what I mean? This whole side of the map is like my spot. Reckless Railways. Damn, I didn't even realize how much of a fucking fiend I am for this spot on the map.
Really scuffed and forcibly end up on the super congested side with a bunch of other players.
Always.
So ensuring you leave your...
Oh yeah, you always end up right
drop
there.
spot early enough will guarantee that you can get into a much more central position in like the 3rd and 4th zones, which are really good for zone RNG. Number 2 is playing for forecast. So having forecast means that you're
I wrote that down in my notes somewhere else, so I'm not going to write that down. But in case you missed that, if you have forecast, if you can see into the future in a low mobility or no mobility meta, that is like time traveling, because holy shit, dude, like knowing where you're supposed to go is such an advantage, because people can't just fucking launch pad there or freaking grapple blade. They have to actually crank and protect themselves and use natural cover and things of that nature. So it's a huge advantage if you can, you know, kind of get that. So it does make sense that it becomes so much stronger.
always going to be able to position yourself in dead side positions away from everywhere
Exactly,
else.
you get
and you're
dead
always
side.
going to know ahead of time where you're going
Great
to go.
point,
And
too.
obviously, forecast has always been good, but in particular in games with no mobility, where it's really easy to get a late rotate and kind of get stuck along the edge of zone.
The thing is, with forecast, right here, you don't even necessarily need dead side unless it pulled dead side, though. Like, that's one thing that I always kind of don't like about zone pull is, or forecast tower, is you don't always need dead side, and so you end up like, maybe he stays right here because he knows it pulls this way, but then this is super congested and you die anyway. So sometimes it's better to kind of forget that you have forecast tower and still play dead side and just know you have a free rotation in there. You know, you can refarm, you can avoid everybody, because if you're right here and zone pulls right here, you might just get lobby sprayed because everyone's looking right there now. So it's just one thing to think about.
With a bunch of other players, this just completely prevents that, and getting forecast can literally,
Especially if it's like right here, like literally full fucking congested side. Like, it's better to just stay dead side anyway, even if it pulls right here and you know it pulls right here. In some situations.
save you hundreds of mats in the
Sometimes it's better to be if you know you're not going to get lobby sprayed.
partial zones. Next is bunkers. Now, obviously, you get the guaranteed tons of gold in here, which is super useful because you can buy med kits, so you can basically try to win heal off that way. But on top of that, there are the 3 rare chests that spawn here, along with 1 Avengers chest as well. Now, currently, rare chests have a 100% chance to drop 4 armored walls, which are incredibly important in this meta. And of course, you've also got the crazy loot that's in here too, which is also very worth it. You do have to be mindful about taking a bunch of storm, which may not be the best for finals, however. Number 4 is all about refarming. Now, basically the only way you can get extra materials is either from getting an elim, which is of course very risky, or just by refarming. And because there's no mobility, you must use materials on pretty much every single rotate. So no matter where you're rotating, always try to plan ahead places where you'll be able to actually refarm the mats up so you can stay as capped as possible.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down. You gotta stay strapped. You need to refarm, because on these rotations, yo, what up, cracked kid? Because on these rotations, there's literally low mobility, so you're gonna run out of mats super fast. So yeah, just plotting your path with trees, that way you can refarm wood and things of that nature.
Number 6 is center 4th zone positions. Now, as you notice, wherever pretty much that 5th zone pools, you're going to be pretty much benefited by that in the 5th zone. So even though this is a completely edge zone, you're guaranteed yourself to get in it. And if you're kind of playing edge in the congested side here on the 4th zone, you're giving yourself a really difficult time to rotate in. So one of the reasons why leaving your drop spot early is so important is so you can try and focus on getting these kind of positions. And from here, these players can even try to get closer to center 5th, but most of the time that's not really worth it.
Gotta take the notes.
Nearly always going to put you
This is the VOD review night.
Later
You feel me?
rotates, assuming
We're just
you don't
VOD
need more
reviewing right
search.
now.
Number 6 is early rotates. Now you see Nathan here basically immediately runs as soon as the 6th zone appears, and it is obviously quite a favorable to him, which is super useful for him. But if you wait too long, all of these players around you might get ahead of you, which gives you a worse zone priority. So essentially they'll be able to rotate ahead of you. So what you always want to do is, if there's an opportunity, if you're in the best spot possible, always rotate as early as you possibly can. Now if there's a wall of players in front of you holding you, that may not be possible, but generally early rotations are really always better. Position position he puts himself into here is also what we call the storm line, which I talked about in one of my other videos already. So you can see it's already on the line of the storm. So to the north side here will be the dead side, and this will be the congested side. So by putting yourself in the storm line, essentially in this area, that gives you access to rotate over here. This also is a power position where you can hold anyone rotating in this side and just spray them, which allows you then to have completely free rotates this way because you've held them out of that position. So storm line positions are so useful, in particular here and on this edge, because you can hold those players that are rotating in late and prevent them from getting onto dead side, holding it all for yourself. And finally, number 8 is saving your dashes. Now, as you notice, Lusha here has 3 still attached, and this is the start of the first moving zone. So what he's able to do is just tarp ahead because he took a bit too long to do this. Pop Fizz once, and then just do a massive sprint jump, dash, and then bounce and slide and do another jump. And he's essentially made the entire of the first moving zone in one single dash. And now he still has 2 more left after this as well. But again, a lot of these players will just be fizzing, running, trying to do their best, whereas Lusha has just skipped that whole rotation. This also means you can use them for height rotations. As you can just see, he's scouting through his cone. You can see his height is fighting. It's a little bit scuffed. And now he can just simply dash up onto height and just take it for himself. Some of the best solo drop spots this season are all in the northwest of the map, only because you can guarantee get yourself these dashes, which can pretty much skip 1 or 2 complete rotates for yourself.
Exactly.
In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at how Moneymaker is able to make earnings in solos. Of course, Moneymaker is one of the best controller players in the EU, even when he's like running around and trolling. I was in the call while he was winning this game, giving him some tips and things since I was watching his stream while I was playing as well. And if you guys don't actually know, Moneymaker does have the masterclass. He is a masterclass user just like yourself, but he doesn't use it anymore since he's obviously a pro, doesn't really need to learn things like that. Instead, he actually used it back in 2021. So when the Solos Masterclass first came out, a bunch of the OG videos of like Epic Whale, Tayson and things like that, Moneymaker had 0 earnings and he was using it, as you can see. You can see I told him to fix up his mistakes way back May 2021, and he was able to make his first earnings on PC, as you can see right here. And ended up actually doing a video. I'll leave a link down below if you want to watch just a really old, like 3+ year old video of Moneymaker when he was a little baby playing solos and making earnings back in the day. But let's just get straight into the main part of this video, which is going to be his win right here in the actual most recent solo cash cup that you guys can learn from. Alright, first things first, Moneymaker is landing at the Raft. The Raft is the best drop spot this season, but you guys need a good strategy if you're actually going to have a chance of getting the coin. You can just sort of land here and just scrap loot up. It's a decent amount of loot from the spot. It's mid-map, it's got good rotations and things like that. But if you're landing here, you obviously want to go for the Emma Frost mid lane. I've covered a strat that you can do where you land at the same building as Money did right here above the bot, and then you just get a bunch of spray guns and you get the bot very quickly. But Moneymaker decides, because this is the finals, you want to play a little
I like
slower,
that shield
he
bubble,
decides
that
to
was
loot
funny.
up as much as possible, get himself really stacked. He does a very nice play here, which is doing the aggro of the bot from the side angle, and then he goes ahead and fully blocks his back as well. So as you can see, there's no real way for him to get awareness checked, which is very important when you get in the bot and there's a lot of footsteps. And then he also uses an armored wall to make sure you can get the bot extremely
I
safely.
like that.
Really solid
Armor
play. As soon as you get this bot, guys,
boxing.
the best strat is just to disengage. You've got pretty much ESP wall hacks and things like that, so it's very hard to die as long as you just dip out of the POI fairly quickly, in my opinion, which is what he does right here. He decides to force his other player away, and then he goes ahead and just dips out the POI and gets his mats up as much as possible. Alright, right here, Moneymaker gets into a mid-game fight. This is somebody who's very aggressive, so I just want to cover how Moneymaker plays defensive fight situations. You can see, he obviously can't go on the offensive, he's only got 30 builds, so the way that he plays this is really nice. A bunch of things you guys can learn. First thing that he does is, rather than just doing a predictable wall peek, instead he does this little jumping peek.
Okay,
right
cracked kid, I fuck with you,
Not
bro.
even place anything in his box. Just a small play, trying to get a bit of opening damage.
Why
And
not
then
take notes if we're trying to level up, you feel
lets
me?
the guy into his box from the
You
top,
take notes in
and
school.
as soon as the guy's in his box, look, he backward stairs and then places the armored. And now he's actually got the guy pretty much full piece, right? Moneymaker's got all the control in this fight.
Full piece.
Really smart play you can do. Definitely practice fighting with armored. I think Resub's new map has actually got a load of armored walls in it that you can use when you're doing 1v1s, which is very helpful. And luckily enough for this guy, he did some nice movement and got out the box. But that's a very nice play by Moneymaker. Then he does a very solid play, which is not getting awareness checked. Always be ready. If you hear somebody pull out their AR, just start holding walls, getting ready in case they try jumping straight into your box. A lot of good players aren't just going to double pickaxe. They're going to try AR spring into your box. Then the final play that Moneymaker did right here to catch this guy out is really solid. Look. He lets the guy onto his wall, and he's not holding his wall. He's not even, doing an edit or something like that. He's just holding his shotgun out, and he's trying to bait the guy out. Look what he does. He double edits his top, places the wall up there, And just look at the other guy's crosshair placement at this point in time, is he immediately gets distracted by what Money is doing compared to where Moneymaker actually is. Like he turns up and he looks up, and Moneymaker's perfectly baited the guy out. He's got a wide open edit. He's able to catch that guy completely off guard. And now with that damage advantage, all Moneymaker needs to do is force a cone, and he takes out the player. A little bit of a 50-50 at the end there to end the fight, but he was running low on mats, so he kind of needed to take that risk. And now he's able to get completely stacked. And even though Moneymaker is a very solid fighting player, and he needs loot at this point in time, right? He's not completely stacked to mats. Instead, he plays nice and slow, and he just refarms his mats the rest of his game, which is something that you guys definitely can learn. Do not just throw away a game keying, especially in finals, even in opens, this applies as well. Instead, go ahead and just play, get all your mats back. It's so easy to refarm in solos, in my opinion. There's so much mats everywhere. You can get cat, wood, brick, metal, really easily all over the map. Alright, so as we get later into the game here, Moneymaker still sort of needs a refresh, but he's not actually forcing a refresh just yet. As you can see, he's actually more focused on just getting front side. And the key thing,
I guess if I click on your name, it fucking
pulls
up a website.
is you don't just want to be trying to force it on one player. Instead, you want to be trying to find multiple different players that you can maybe get a refresh on. And also remember, it's a top 15k lobby. So unless you've already won a game, there's going to be a lot of bad players in your game. Don't just try to kill the first person you see. You'll get tunnel vision on one player. Instead, try to locate those bad players that you might be able to get a refresh on. And also, don't fully commit.
That's true.
Right? Like Moneymaker here doesn't actually need a refresh massively. Instead, he's just looking.
Yeah, don't force the refresh.
This guy starts panicking, building wood. And Moneymaker is just very confident in getting his kill. Look what he does. He does a nice little burst dash right through the wall there. Lines up this shot after replacing the cone. Hits 105. And then to take out this player, all he does is do a nice little awareness check and jump in. Moneymaker is really good at not replacing and then editing. Instead, he just gets those little awareness checks where you can just jump into a box. The other player was distracted, placing armored walls the other way, and Moneymaker was able to get a nice refresh. Now he's back up to cat mats, and he's completely chilling for the rest of this game. Now, as we get later on in the game towards moving zones right here, Moneymaker is put with a very challenging rotate. He's not in the best position possible. He's on a sort of decently high level.
He's got to cross a river.
Tough moving zone, and he's only got one dash to do with. Which is why I really like this play that he does. He very confidently just flips his ramp and goes ahead and just takes high ground. Do not be afraid of just getting to be one of the highest players in the lobby at this point in time. Because, of course, no reasonable player is going to be trying to play height the entirety of moving zone. It's just not really how height works at all in the game at the moment. So as you can see, Moneymaker is able to take height completely for free here. He does it very conservatively. He's makes sure to, not waste boxes full building himself around. And instead, he just gets nice.
I like that little cone.
And he's going to give himself a really easy rotate for this next zone.
Yeah, he conserved mats right there. That was kind of
video,
clean.
if you guys have watched that, getting his second ever earnings, Moneymaker is going to do the exact same strat right here. What he does is he pre-pops his fizz as the zone is going to go. Pops his fizz, starts ramping up, and he's just going to skyramp. And to be honest, he could have skyramped even further up. He doesn't actually have to use the fizz. And instead, I would have preferred him to, just fully skyramp up the entirety of the zone. But what he decides to do is jump and then dash forward. And now, with one dash remaining, he's going to go ahead and take high ground from the front of the zone, which is a really nice play. Yeah. Do not be afraid of just going and investing a little bit of mats onto height, because you can easily get refreshes and kills from high ground. And especially if you're a confident player doing a lot of pressure, like Money is here, you've got a good spray gun, like this Mythic Org, you're going to have a very easy time of holding height in solos. Alright, so as we go ahead and watch a
pretty sure Moneymaker's controller, right?
Moneymaker did a pretty bad job of holding height, to be honest. As you can see, he's a little bit too low down, which allows people to just sort of fizz pump him as they go past. He also isn't connected enough, so he ends up just wasting loads of mats, getting chopped out over and over. So he does the correct thing, which is just going towards front side of zone and looking for a kill. He does it from a high layer, which is very nice. So he's got a little bit more freedom to go for height later on if he wants to, as well as to just get his heals off without getting all replaced. And he does a really nice play right here. He spots two players fighting right next to him, and he immediately doesn't focus on the kill since he's not healthy enough. Instead, what he does is pump, replace the wall, and he goes ahead and just claims all of the mats and the extra loot. And it's not the biggest refresh ever, but it's just a little bit extra. And remember, those little refreshes you get whenever somebody dies nearby your box and you can go ahead and just claim the loot, that can be the difference in you winning or losing the game later on. So now Moneymaker has got a bunch of mats. He's, basically gone off about 10 or so builds right there, and he starts thinking about high ground again. So while he's popping his fizz, he scouts out through the see-throughness of his builds, right? So he scouts out while his builds are a little bit lower HP, and he starts just ramping up on height.
You've got to block that.
Right here, which is doing this ramp.
If someone's looking at you, you just got to block them. You can't even shoot.
And at this point in time,
just gonna trade.
This guy's obviously just going to go towards front side. He's lost high ground. So Moneymaker does a really nice org
nice
shot
kill
as the guy goes towards front side. And then very good use of armored walls right here. Knowing he's not got fizz on, knowing he's got no more dashes, he wants to get that loot, but he can't just, you know, waterfall down to it. Instead, he has to go ahead and fizz, so he gets the armored walls to give himself a little bit more time, and then he goes down and claims.
And you don't even have to jump.
Gets an insane amount of mats, and now he's going to go up and actually reconnect height. And this time he does it exactly correctly. He makes sure he's fully connected. As you can see, he's got like 4 builds here holding him up, and he gets way higher up. So it's much harder for people to get shots on him, much harder for him to get flanked, as well as it's much easier for him now to just hold height for the rest of this game. Now, when it comes to holding height, there's actually a couple of key things that you need to do. Reese is going to do a full video on this, but very simply put, you need to be pressuring people so they can't flank you, right? So make sure there's nobody behind you or underneath you that can flank, and also be aware of front side threats. As you can see, this guy building a load of metal and hard mats front side in a position where he could easily look back, like this guy could easily ramp back and spray out money. So what Money does very smartly is he's got his fizz popped and he instantly starts sprinting towards this other player. Remember, a sprint is enough to actually cover the entirety of the zone. So you need to practice using sprint builds like Money's doing here. Connects himself, make sure he connects back to his old height. So now, as you can see, his height has got 2 connection points, and he actually is a really nice player, which is going even higher up, as you can see. So this might look like a super high, like risky top, but because he's got 2 connection points that are very hard to drop out, and he's also so high up it's hard to get flanked, he's going to have a very easy job of just holding height for the rest of this game. So this height hold by Money was actually really solid, as you can see. Basically impossible for somebody else to take it, like I was just saying. However, he makes a mistake as zone pulls back. Always remember, guys, when zone pulls back and you're up on height, other players, their boxes that they've just been in earlier, and there's going to be a load of old builds, and these players are going to rat underneath your high ground. It's something called blindsiding, as you can see, just from this Skibbity Easy Bob guy, or Ruben right here, is what he's doing is he's blindsiding Moneymaker, because he's going underneath these old builds. You can't really do this if zone is pulling far and far and far, but whenever it plays back, always remember that this can happen. So what Moneymaker should do to counter this, first
is
of all,
move to the right a little
crap,
bit.
I actually think he should go up and just ramp above these old builds right here. But instead, he makes the mistake of staying on this layer, right? Which is really bad.
I guess not to the right because someone's pulling to the left.
Go up and then also make sure to look below him. And
oh my
it's very hard to like read the footsteps at this point in time. There's a lot of footsteps going on.
Right.
So you have to be really careful that people aren't blindsiding you. Maybe look through your builds or that. Maybe even tarp the other way. But it's, of course, you want to try to conserve mats on high ground. You're at one point going to run along your old builds. So as soon as you run along your old builds like this, start ramping up. Make it difficult for somebody to blindside you. But Moneymaker makes a mistake. He stays on that layer. The other guy does some nice cones. Gets a nice bit of damage right here. And now Money has to force himself into slowing down. Give the other player a high ground for a second. He does a very nice little armored tarp right here while looking for shots. You can see.
Nice job.
Spread this down. He's doing a bunch of plays, you know, armored, then insta peeking out the side, then dropping down layers, doing even more armored, keeping himself as healthy as possible so it can't really be contested. And then this is a play that I actually commed, which you guys definitely should learn from, is the other player clearly isn't super stacked, right? The other guy's kind of running out of mats because he's only building wood. He's not super high up. He's not pressuring an insane amount. So this guy is pretty clearly running out of mats. So what I come to Moneymaker was, you know, he's already reloaded his gun, so you should always reload first. And then Mantle, especially when you hear somebody pull out the fizz. The fizz creates really big audio cue, and you can also see it visually. You know, the spray effect going up in the air. Whenever somebody pulls out their fizz, trying to get a Mantle off, as you can see, because the other guy's clearly doing a
Mantle.
Didn't know where Moneymaker was because he's popping the fizz. Moneymaker's able to get an awareness check, get the crack on him, and now he's able to get up, and the other player's forced off high ground. Again, very small mistake by Money, letting another player blindside him, and it almost lost him the game. Because as you can see right here, he's running super low on mats. So what should you do to recover the situation? As you guys always know, farm the trees. Whenever you're in endgame,
farm the trees.
Start smacking on every single tree that you can. It's going to massively help you win the game. And of course, he's doing very
farm
nice
the trees
at this point in time as well. So now we're into the final stages of the game. Everybody is running out of mats, especially because zones only really played back once this game. The rest of the zones went very far. And Moneymaker is able to use this opportunity to get a bunch of kills. So take a look at how he does this. He lowers his layers down, right? You don't want to stay super high layers at this point in time, especially when you've not got a load of mats. Just going to get you chopped out. And he also uses a load of armored walls to make sure he's secured. Then, while he's doing this, because he's tarping along the right-hand side of zone, so you can see his right, it allows him to do a right-hand peek back onto enemies who are behind him and to look back at, you know, if anybody else was to flank him. So this guy who's coming out of zone with a load of builds, look, Moneymaker's got a right and peek, very simple elim to get right there. But the key thing is, with all these elims, he's not actually going for the loot just yet, right? He could maybe jump for that loot, get the flop or something, but it's not worth going for it just yet. Instead, let the end game play out, as you can see.
Let the
and
end
let other
game
people,
play
you know,
out.
do their plays first, if that makes sense, right? So rather than Moneymaker trying to run back in Storm, get all that loot, playing medkits early, instead what he does is he stays on height as long as he can, using his armored, spots that everybody else has gone early into Storm. As you can see, there's nobody in the Storm right here, which means that he doesn't have to worry about Storm sickness heal off because he's not taking any ticks. So even though he's going early, he's not actually going, you know, it's one of the first few players to go. And because he's just got all those kills, all he needs to do is stay up on his high layers. Make sure you don't jump down layers whenever you're trying to find more medkits. Just stay up on your layers when you've been up on height. And all he has to do is just spam pop all these medkits. And he's also got a flopper saved for the sickness heal off in a second. One very key thing that you should practice a little bit for these sort of heal off wins is just practicing juggling loot out your inventory, especially from controller. That can be quite hard, like getting away with fizz, dropping your AR if you don't need it, as well as your ability to pick up mats. So if there's any mats on the floor, you can pick up while popping a medkit, which is a very useful skill to learn, making sure you don't actually cancel your medkit. And also just putting your medkits into one inventory slot, so you don't have to waste time and have a delay in between popping them is very important as well.
Damn. Quite the video. Yo, Cracked Kid, thank you for the follow, my G. I appreciate that, man. Alright, next one.
This video is going to cover the end game script. Everything you need to know about the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th zones in order to actually win a solo Cash Cup Finals game. We're going to use CZB as an example here because this is a very, very nice game. So as you notice, he's into the 8th zone really early, way earlier than anyone else, and he's also stacked on mats already. So he's had a good mid game, which we've covered in other videos already. That's one of the most
A lot to learn and a lot to earn, my G. Yo, this game pays out. You feel me? If we just pop off, we can make some money.
Most important parts of having a good end game. If you have a good early game, you already set yourself up to not need refreshes in the end game. Then from here, notice how once the zone opens up, he sprints all the way over into the dead side. Now, if you watched the Tarzan strat video already, you'll know exactly what he is doing right here, making sure he's reharvesting tree to tree. But the reason he sprints out here is actually just because of the dead side. So if we open up this map right here, you can see, for example, the midline of the zone is around here, essentially where all of the players will rotate onto this north side and the dead side ends up being down here. So by early positioning himself in here, in this side, he essentially sets himself up for free rotations. So if the first moving zone pulls over here, he just has a free rotate this way, where all the players are right next to him. If the zone pulls down here, he can just run front side. If the zone pulls over here, he can run this way. And then if the zone pulls back over this direction, he can rotate around the edge and over everyone here. So regardless of which way he goes, he's already in the perfect position for the first moving zone. Now he actually sprints even deeper, which I think is funny, and kind of sits in this tree, which is not something you can necessarily do in every single game, but I thought it was funny to keep him away. Now you can see that first zone pulls far down to the south, and just looking at the map, I don't need to explain to you why this position was good. You can see he has the priority to get there first if he needs to. He has no one on his side. All of these players are basically probably going to white land it down here. So if CCB either just staggers and waits, he'll have a free path, or he could just go down the edge of the storm, and all he needs to do is then cover this direction. So he basically has a really material efficient rotate regardless. So now all he needs to do is sprint a little bit to get ahead, and because he's so far in front and he's on this dead side and no one's there, he could just harvest. How many people in this zone do you think even have the ability to just refarm in a moving zone? It's pretty insane. And then all he needs to do is just go up a simple layer, box himself up, and now this is where he staggers. So now because everyone's behind him, this gives him the option to sit and just spray everyone that's coming behind. And this is where he gets really free elim. So now all he needs to do is staggered once, sprints ahead, and then just does a small little tarp to get himself into the first moving zone. So essentially after the first moving zone, he still has 120 builds, and he started that with 136. So because he reharvested, he basically only used 16 builds during the entire first moving zone. Now because he has so many mats, he can also just create 3 boxes, which means that he's not a target. No one's going to try and run straight into his box through his wall, and if they do, he has plenty of space to work from. So his first moving zone is pretty simple. He early went to the dead side of the 8th zone, so then he can get a great rotation, and that basically just set him up for the first moving zone entirely. Now, you can see the next moving zone pulls completely south, and essentially he's just
And timeout. I know it's silly, but we know this is the 9th zone. How? Because it pulls this way. 9th zone pulls out. You go back a little bit, 8th zone looks like an 8. That's how I remember it, because there's the big circle and the little circle, like, you know what I'm saying, like a an ocho, an 8. But 9 kind of looks like a 9 because there's this circle and then the line that your character has, right? So if he was standing right here, it kind of looked like a 9, an upside down 9. You feel me? Or I guess right here. But either way. So let's go back a second. You'll see. Oh, I guess he was already on 9. Well, then it's zone 10 because never mind. I take that back.
Cuts off line of sight really well. Dodgy trim could be slightly deeper at this picks. So because he reharvested, he basically only used 16 builds during the entire first moving zone. Now, because he has so many mats, he can also just create 3 boxes, which means that he's not a target. No one's going to try and run straight into his box through his wall, and if they do, he has plenty of space to work from. So his first moving zone is pretty simple. He early went to the dead side of the 8th zone, so then he can get a great rotation, and that basically just set him up for the first moving zone entirely. Now, you can see the next moving zone pulls completely south, and essentially he's just stuck in amongst all of the other players. He could have rotated slightly deeper at this point into, like, again, the midway zone earlier on, but he was in a pretty good spot. He'd committed enough materials already, and it made sense just to box up completely there. Right. So this is the first time he's actually going to use a fizz at all because he didn't use it through there. And one thing I really like that a lot of people need to learn about fizz is staying close to builds. So do you notice how as he sprinted, he turned over to the side, close to these builds? Say I'm a player and I fly over this direction, dodgy trim could easily get a shot off on me, but the closer you actually are to the wall, the harder it is for the player in here to see you. So you can notice he cuts off line of sight really well just by flying right past the walls there. And then as he lands, he just boxes up again. A lot of people make the mistake in endgame of just continually flying, jumping with fizz, but you really just have to do a single jump, box, and stagger, and wait. Again, he goes for a nice little elim.
If you think about it, like how do militaries move? They move close to walls too because you don't want to be out in the open, you know? You want to have some type of protection, and that's kind of the same thing. You stay next to your walls, stay next to natural terrain, and you get that extra bit of cover.
In there because I don't know what that guy was doing, but he's always active, he's always looking. That gives him another refresh. Now he's back up to completely camped mats. This is again staggers, and notice now every single time I'll talk about this in the height video later, he's always looking through his ceiling just to see what height is doing. He's continually scouting to see if there's an opportunity. And now towards the 10th zone, he very intentionally starts to ramp up. Remember where he was before? He was all the way down in this corner, and he made a sprint diagonally through the zone to go up to a high layer, because this is where he's going to start to approach his high ground retake from. And now again, with the amount of materials that he has, 115 still to his name, he almost has the game guaranteed win. I guarantee he is the highest amount of anyone. 115, 35, 69, just checking all the materials of everyone. Yes, he has the most by a long shot. So if he gets on height from here, he's basically just won the game. So the 10th zone is now finished. So all he did in that 10th zone was use one fizz to get close to the front side, get an elim because he was at the front and he was spraying back, and then again elevate himself towards the end of that 10th zone, again using fizz. And now it's an opportunity to take height. The 11th zone is the time you want to try and go for it. Again, I have that covered in the height retake video already. So here he goes for what we call a blindside retake, where as you notice, he's got another player underneath him, and he jumps up, and now this player above cannot see him. If I click from this perspective, because he is underneath him here, this is CZB, player in height has no clue that he is here. So he does the sprint jump, goes underneath, so he completely is underneath the player right now who has no clue that he's there. And then he sprint jump, mantles above.
And if you've watched my YouTube video, you know he just did the counterclockwise rotation high ground retake that we talk about in that video. Very high level stuff. CZB did it right there. No way that guy's gonna find him. CZB's got the advantage, put it that way.
While this player has no clue. Now, unfortunately, this did not necessarily work out that well. And again, in the height retake video, we're going to cover a much better way to do it than this, because this is still very risky. But again, he guarantees has the most mats in the game because he had over 125 going into the second last moving zone. And all he does here is just stay to the far side of the storm. So he has a right-hand peek to everyone down below. From here, he's also trying to spray everyone who's in hard mats. You can see there, he was looking at the people in metal and the people in brick, because those are the people who have the most mats, and you're trying to drain them as much as possible. In this game, you're not even looking to try and get kills on weak players who are in wood. The goal here is to just grief all of the players who may potentially win.
It's not even about having like flashy high ground retakes. It's just about having that element of surprise. You know, in the art of war, it states all war is based on deception, and if your opponent doesn't know where you are, that's guerrilla warfare right there.
the game against you. Now, armored walls have been nerfed, so you can no longer carry 15 of them and do this in your final moving zone. But essentially, it just went down to heal off, and he had plenty of medkits, as you can see here, to win the game. So the script here is pretty simple. 9th zone, get deep early so you can always play through the dead side, and you have a free rotation on that first moving zone. 10th zone, all you need to do is one single jump with the fizz, stagger, and then elevate yourself, again doing the same thing towards the end of the zone. 11th zone, where you're healthy with good materials, that's where you want to start looking up to height. And then if you watch the height video, we know you're just going to start griefing height. Take height in the 11th zone and then maintain it through all of the 12th.
Indeed.
Of course, the whole solos masterclass is designed around getting earnings, but the first step of that is qualifying through opens and qualifying every single week, whether you're playing good or you're playing bad. I'm going to be covering the best strategies that you can do to make so it's basically impossible not to qualify. And the players we're going to be looking at in this video is Bash right here. This is a masterclass user. He's made a bunch of earnings, and you can see he got 4th place in the first Cash Cup Opens. I'm going to look at some of my own sort of match histories, as well as a couple players who almost didn't qualify, as well as a couple players down here who actually didn't qualify. And I'm going to be explaining why they didn't qualify, what you need to do with your strategy to approach, because obviously solo opens is not just about qualifying, it's about getting good quality practice for finals, so you have a chance of earning in the finals, as well as just getting as much PR and as much good placements as possible under your belt. It's going to help looking for a duo, getting better teammates in the future, joining better friend groups. Solo Cash Cup Opens are really good practice if you do them correctly. And of course, you need to be qualifying for them very easily and early every single week. Alright, so the first thing that you need to understand about qualifying for opens and also just getting the best placement possible is that elims do not really matter, in my opinion. Of course, if you want to be winning the whole opens, you need to be getting a lot of kills like these players are doing right here. But Bash right here, who got 4th in opens and has earned a bunch in the finals, as I was saying earlier, he's basically just playing fully for endgame from the very first game. And in my opinion, guys, you should only take elims in opens if A, it's a really bad player and it's basically just a guaranteed free kill, or whether that's elim is going to help set you up for the game. Because as you can see here, if you get 20 elims in a game, that is only equal to a 10th place, right? It's literally 20 elims is less than 10th place, which just shows how biased the placement format is. So, and of course, the win is really heavily rewarded. There's an extra 10 points for the win. So what I'm going to recommend for you guys is your very first game, you only take and fights that are going to help you.
Oh, I play Fortnite tournaments, my guy. Oh, yeah.
And just show you guys some people.
I try to play every single one.
These is Frey. So as you can see, Frey right here, he's doing his own masterclass at the moment, and he does not know how to call up opens because he's using the completely wrong strategy.
I miss a lot of them.
The main reason that he's not qualifying,
but I try to play all of them.
At this point in time, when you're like in the top 10, you're very deep into the game, you should no longer be king, because as you can see, dying top 9, top 8 while trying to take fights, you're missing out on so much potential placement points. So you can see here, each placement inside the top 10 is worth a whole 3 elims. So just by AFKing and letting somebody else die, you're going to get an extra 3 elims. As well as, once you get into the top 5, each placement is worth a whole extra 5 points. And I know going from 5th to 4th is so easy compared to just getting 5 elims, right? And then, of course, as you get into the top 2, it's worth an extra 7 elims. And then winning the game, of course, is worth an extra 10. So it's so important, guys, that you set yourself up well when you get into a later game during your first start of the tournament, that you're in the best position possible to get either a win or a second place in your first endgame. So my personal strategy that I've actually started employing is not just going for full 0 kill wins and just playing completely passive from the start, which obviously can work, but I personally just don't enjoy doing that. Instead, what I've been using to get like 160, 170 plus points in these solo cash cup opens and getting really good placements is just doing the following. What I tried to do is for my first end game, so the first game where I'm getting, top 10, top 5 or something like that, I try to make it as good of a game as possible, either a second place or a win. So what I'm doing in these games is I'm setting myself up absolutely perfectly. I'm going for forecast. This game I died, fighting for a bunker, being a bit aggressive. Next game I died fighting for the scan coin, which isn't needed to have a really good game, but I just wanted to go for it. This game the guy didn't seem that good because I'm using loads of armored walls since it wasn't nerfed at that point in time. So then the next game after this, I do the exact same thing. I go for forecast, I get bunker, I get myself completely stacked, and then I'll go ahead and watch the game. All I do is just AFK and play the end game out and don't go for anything for the rest of the game. It is so easy, guys, if you set yourself up well to have an extremely solid end game. But as you can see, for my first game that I'm playing, what I'm doing is just taking out a player on the forecast. I've got forecast now. Then I go ahead and grab the bunker, get myself as stacked as possible. Really simple stuff, just get myself as juiced as possible. And then for the rest of the game, you really don't want to complicate this, guys. What I'd recommend doing is either camping in a building or sitting in a bush, genuinely. So you're not getting keyed by somebody that you don't want to get keyed by, and it also allows you to potentially go for easy items and get yourself even more stacked. Like here, obviously,
I play Central, NA Central in America.
If you're in a lobby like this, as you can see, everybody in this lobby.
What about you? What do you play on?
It is, in my opinion, worth trying to take elims to get better players at the game. So this guy right here, I actually knew he was a fairly decent player. He gets on keying a load of people around me. So I wanted to make sure that I would take him out and give myself an easy time of winning this game later on. So whenever I'm fighting, I'm being nice and cautious, making sure I'm not doing anything too crazy, not risking dying, right? Worst thing you can do in a game is obviously die, as stupid as that sounds, but if you try approaching fights so you're not dying, you're going to have a very easy time of winning games. So as you can see, kill that guy, go back and get my push. I'm using forecast here to early rotate, get all my mats back, very simple stuff. And then for the rest of this game, literally all I'm doing is just playing the game out with forecast. And it's
might have to run it up
sometime.
sometime.
It's impossible not to get a top 2 in this situation if you just go early, refarm mats, and of course from this you're going to get 60.
This guy's got the freaking Captain America shield and Thor's hammer.
Alright, so after you guys have gone ahead and played out one endgame where you've had, the best loot possible, you've put yourself in the ideal situation, all you need to do from then on out is just play out endgames, as simple as that sounds. Do not try to key when you're on the higher elo. Only take fights where you've got a mass advantage and it's, a very clear opportunity for you to get an easy refresh that you actually need. And then from then on out, your match history should, if you're playing out your games correctly, look something like this. Of course, you're always going to have, one stinker game where you just die somewhat early. But the key thing is to not get tilted. Don't allow yourself to start keying. And then just keep consistently banging.
Don't get tilted. That's...
I'm pretty sure Bass was already qualified. After
for me, that's the biggest advice, is just don't get tilted. Just really try to play every single game out, because we really can pop off if we just relax and just not get mad.
Very almost so. Then he just keeps on playing endgames, keeps on getting quality practice for the finals, which is actually really underrated. The best solo practice you can get for solo cash cups is, playing at opens of a solo cash cup, playing it for the win as well. And one thing you'll notice is while you're playing all these games, it's one of my favorite strategies, is you get such good, realistic practice for how your finals is going to play out. Instead of just, keying after you've already gone ahead and qualified, or keying because you've got an hour left and you can just do whatever you want and you're going to qualify either way. Instead, just get quality practice, guys. It is so underrated. This is something that Jake Booker did, and, he's got the most EU wins. This is something that lots of people with the masterclass do. Get quality practice from opens and make yourself have the highest chance of getting earnings in finals, which of course a bunch of the masterclass people do every single week. Also, guys, I should mention that if you're having a really rough tournament, you're not having a good start or whatever, I would actually just recommend having a little break, going ahead and doing a warm-up or something like that, or even if you have to late start, it genuinely is a really viable strat. I'd recommend starting around 50 minutes late or an hour late if you're not the most confident player, or maybe you're not able to start exactly on time, or if you're just wasting games, dying off spawn and you're getting tilted. Just have a little break and then start around an hour late, and that's going to allow you to play 3 full games out. And as you can see, this is what 20 did right here. This is an NA player who qualified on EU, and all he is doing is, playing an endgame out, getting, a decent placement, 5th, as well as a decent amount of kills. Then he wastes another game mid-game just trying to go for objectives. And then all he does is just win his last game when he's not on the best elo. That is why late starting is actually fairly solid strat. And the reason in solos is even if you're on like 60 points and you're in your final game, you can still qualify as long as you go ahead and have an absolute banger of a last game, So let's say you're on 60 points, you've only got 1 game left. All you need is to win the game and you've got a guaranteed qual. It's really not too hard in my opinion. But of course, you need to make sure you set yourself up correctly to win that game.
Yup, well, winning a game is fucking easier said than done, buddy. Especially fucking solos. I suck at solos, that's why I'm about to fucking be grinding solos. That's why I'm taking this class. I can get better at solos.
There's like a little spot where Nitro Ring used to be.
Let's see. Okay. Okay, so guys, we're gonna go through the entire game because from what I understood, a lot of you are not understanding like what you do wrong in the game. So we can actually watch what you did right in the game, and that's a player like you guys. That is not like a T1 Pro. So like it's interesting to see like how he did it. So what did you actually watch? Did you watch like DJ like solos, right? A lot?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just watching, like going through the solo masterclass and just watching a lot of those videos. This I should not have fought here.
I mean, that was a really, really insane pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you go like crazy, dude.
Yeah, I was fighting for the bunker because I was just gonna play
I
for the
mean,
bunker. I figured if I die, I can load into another game. But then
mhm.
I didn't. But I didn't even get the bunker because I realized.
All right, I just want to point out this is Sven coaching. This is one of the best coaches in the world. So really respect what this guy has to say. He's coached X set to their land win a couple months ago with Ritual, Muzz, Cold, and who was the fourth person? Threats. It was that land. So this guy is fucking badass. Like he coaches Reet and Ritual all the time. This is G. This
Zone
is a
pulled
G right
away,
here.
so I didn't want to risk taking any zone or anything for
Okay.
it.
So
I'm gonna
I'm
just
gonna
shut up
explain
and
to you
listen.
something. That's not because you can die that you have to die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You shouldn't kill yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
like that's not the like there. It's an insane play. Like there, you should be dead 20 times. It's crazy. Like the fact that you don't die there is that was your day to earn. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
99% of the games you would have died there.
Right.
Okay, so this guys don't do that.
Yeah. This was just a very long, dragged out fight.
Okay, so
I should have been dead multiple times over.
I mean, we can still watch because it's like interesting to see how you
Yeah.
guys are fighting and shit. I think. So
I'm gonna turn
the
my
thing that I
camera
like
off for
there
this
is the
one.
fact that you're playing a lot with angles and trying to bait him out and all of that. So this is really good. This is how you should fight in solo. You see, like pressure, apply pressure everywhere. Make sure that like the guy never really know where you are.
Here I had no mats, so I was just trying to bait him to peek a little bit, see if I can get a
Mhm.
shot. Just a bunch of movement. That's all I
Mhm.
could really do.
Even if you have like mats, it's good to play like this, you know. But obviously, you put mats instead of like running. But yeah, this is good to play like this in solos. It's really
Right here, I was just using. I knew this. There's a wall up here that I knew was my build, so
Mhm.
I just used it for a peek. And then he just, I baited this wall, and then he ran at me.
Yeah, that was a really good play. That was a really good play, to be honest. Like this is like really smart to know how to use. Like when you're low mass, this is really important to know and to use. This is what I was saying about reason earlier. I don't know if you were there already, but
Yeah.
like the fact that you use the mats like efficiently, like every build has their importance when we are in early game and like in mid game fight, you know.
Right.
Well, yeah, I like that.
Hmm?
I said I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just trying to refarm, just get my mats up and get ready for
Yeah,
mid game
this
and
is a good
stuff.
play. All right. Hey, you need to make sure that now you're set because now you're most likely set. So yes, you are not like 100% sure that you're gonna win this game, but
Right.
with this loot and if you get like another mech kit or a phase or whatever, then you can win the game. But I don't know why you're king this kid though.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a bit insane in my opinion. Like you should be just refarming and chilling because look where his own pulls. You
Well,
know?
and yeah, there was a lot of I know there was a lot of kids that like land around me, and there's not a lot of spots to like get loot because everybody cons
This
it.
is a finals.
So I just was gonna key him for a ref.
For context, this is a finals, so kills have zero worth. You get 0 points for eliminations. You only get points for a win. The win gets you $100. So the player playing right now is playing for $100 win. The solo victory cup. That's what we were VOD reviewing today.
Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Figured if I could get a beam or something.
Yeah, if you get a beam, it's fine. But after this, it's like too long, you know? Because like
Right.
now you invested a lot of mats and you didn't get anything back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, now you're even more fucked than before. While if you get a beam, you go, yeah, it's okay. Like that, I think you took a bit like too long, and
Mhm.
you should commit a bit less in this fight and focus more on what you can do for like to refarm or get spare loot or whatever. By the way, when you use the nitro without the face, be careful with the bunny up because you're gonna die by full damage. Just
Yep.
saying. Well, that's for everyone as well because
Yeah,
I know
this one I hit before multiple times. This one I don't take fall damage on. I know there's a couple that you do though.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, especially when you burn you up after you actually nitroed, you know.
Right.
I actually after you took the thingy, like the portal, then sometimes if you bunny up, then you take the fall if it's too high after the bunny up.
Right.
So you don't want to do that.
I know a couple of these fights I dragged out. That's something that I should work on though. A couple of the fights this game.
I mean, the way that you played it, or the fact that you're fighting.
Just that I was dragging it out and I should have gone off of it and just left it.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see. Like, so this is good. You're trying to reach as much as you can in without taking the risk to be like too congested as well. This is fine. Oh wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, there was two campers. I fought one of the kids here. The other kid I didn't even know was here. Like I left it. I left the fight after I killed the kid and I did not know this kid under me was there.
How did you figure out that was someone camping this?
When I
You just
botted
keep
it,
it?
I had an audio cue that there was a kid walking up here.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out he was camping. So
Yeah, that's a good awareness. That's very important. You see, that's how you guys prevent the dying me game, by the way. Being really aware, like preventing yourself to like this is every time. Like I say, it's stupid to say, but like if you prevent yourself to die, then you're not like the dead. Like you can win the game. You know what I'm saying? Like if you take care of everything that you do, and you actually like survive. Like there, even if there is no one, making it safe is never gonna be like a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And there you hit him hard.
So I hit him hard, so I just jumped in.
Yeah, no, that's a good play.
Here this is when I got like the big refresh for my mats and fizz.
Yeah, so now you're set to win. Now you're literally set to win. You have to win this game. You know what I'm saying? Like this game has to be a win. If it's not, then you did something wrong. Because you didn't take storm, you didn't like. You have 3 medkits, you have phases, you have cap mats. Like there is no reason to not win this game.
Right. So I rotated onto there's a rift over here that I rotated onto.
Yeah, this is fine. Going for a rift, it's a good play. Like I think in solos is really OP.
There was a rift right there, but the kid fought it and boxed on it, so I had to play for another one. There's one to my right that I played for there.
I mean, it's fine. It doesn't matter which one as soon as you. I mean, you used a bit of mats on the other, but oh my god, you're building a lot on this. It's maybe too much, but what you trying to do there? What you trying to do in this kid?
I don't even know. I just went for a refarm, but the brick was low.
Well, it looks like more.
A little more than a refarm, yeah.
I mean, the way that you actually walked to him and all of that was
Right.
more, yeah, you want to fuck with him, you know?
All right.
Which is necessarily not the play. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have everything to win the game. Don't throw your game because you're just being a bit greedy.
Now I just waited for a zone to pop and then I rifted out.
That's great.
Here I went deep for to get onto dash water and on over to dead side.
Yeah. I mean, there it's okay what you do, I think. So what? Yeah, no, it's fine. And now you just reach yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's good. You get the dash water. Do you know that's like a key point? What?
Here I knew I was getting a little low on metal and brick here, so I fought this kid. He got killed by a third party, and then when I went to fight him because I hit him hard, it was a different kid, but I just still jumped in anyway.
I mean, that was a big cocky fight.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one was like definitely not that bad because of the
I
fact
didn't.
that you kind of dead side. So like, if you don't take any risk, it's fine. But then you saw that this guy got like Fox. You thought that was
I
the
didn't.
same.
I didn't. I thought it was the same kid. I didn't know
Mm.
that he died. Actually, I thought it was the same kid. That's the reason I jumped in on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's fine, like because of that. But if you know that was a different kid, that was a crazy play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would have played it totally different if I knew it was a different kid.
But I mean, this is related to what I said. Like the faster you go with your fights, and the faster that you are in your fights, and to close it out, the better it is. Because you see, like there you
Especially
did
this
just
late in the
jumping mass
game.
confident. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Especially this late in the game. It's getting later. It's getting more congested. So
Mhm.
if you don't jump in, you just get third partied quick.
That's a really, really good armor rule. Really, really good. I like that. Most of the people are just being donkeys and spamming build, And then after they use like 5, 6, 7 build, then they're like, oh, fuck this guy, I'm armor. So this
Right.
is a really good armor rule. Really good. I like that. This is a bad peak. I don't like that. Too big of a risk for no reward. This is a better peak. Like if you edit above, then you have higher risk that the lobby is seeing you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
there, no one can see you. So like it's fine. You can try to pump. But like you could have done the same edit that you did there on the first guy, and it would have worked. Okay, nice try. I mean, you don't need that, so it's a bit like cocky. But I mean, with dash, it's kind of like cocky in my opinion to go like for like a actual like trying to box or whatever. Just do some damage and you crack insta the guy. Then yeah, but I mean, like there it's a bit cocky. Okay, so we use dash. Oh wow! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Here this kid went to get the refresh, so it's
But
shot
why
him
did
off of
you?
it.
But why did you actually jump on this kid?
I don't know. He was running around like an AI, just like a bot. So I just killed him. Just went to kill him.
It's a bit like again, you're very you need to win your game.
Right.
So like if
No.
this is taking too long on your fight, then you could be dead. Then it could be like imagine this guy doesn't die insta by the other guy, and then
Right.
you're doing less damage on the first shot or whatever.
Hmm.
Then you start getting third party by the other guy, and then you're fucked. You know what I'm saying? So like you don't like except if you need a refresh, you don't want to fight in during your rotation. You know what I'm saying? Like you can shot people and see how it does, but yeah, build him
Yeah.
off. That's good.
Up here, I don't know what I was doing. I was just running around. I don't know what I was doing.
I mean, yeah, I don't know why you're posing in wood. Like I
I'm
mean,
not.
like
I wasn't in here, so
you.
I made a
Mhm.
$10.
No, but like a pose is okay in wood. That's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to say like that you don't want
Hey,
to like
cracked kid, you have a good night,
just
man. Thanks for
be
tuning
there
in.
to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like there, you're
You have
just
a good
like box
night.
up there and trying to shoot at people, and then you can get fucked.
Yeah,
You know
man,
what I
we'll
mean?
run it up one time.
Like editing
I
Insta and
don't have
stuff. Like
Fortnite
this is
pulled
not
up
something
right
that
now, but
I'd rather
one
that you
day,
play it safe.
one day for sure, bro.
What's
Have a
the
good
reason
night.
for you to actually like comment for that? And you can put like armored wall in your back. You know what I'm saying? Like you have 13.
Mhm.
Like you can just put it in your back and then like do this. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you for the
fine.
follow, bro. You're a G.
Right.
You understand the difference?
Yep.
It's I'm really annoying with like these things, but this is like what I call discipline.
Right.
Like especially in like these kind of games. Like as I said, you literally don't need anything else to win this game.
Mhm.
And then you will get a refresh. Like you're good enough. Okay, no, not a good scouting phase, so you get fucked. You should have Fizz and then Elliot, so you're 100% sure that you're not standing in front of everyone with your Fizz in your hand.
Mhm.
I mean, there you can, when you see where it pulls, you can use your dashes all the time. Like there, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's good. And you go front. Use more. It's fine. Okay, you old. So the biggest thing that I see for now is the fact that you're actually doing so much things, you know? You actually like want to do something all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you're so like active in the game. Sometimes it's good because that's gonna make you win games, right? But and you'll not be scared to get refreshes and all of that. But you need to. This is probably one of the main reasons of why you don't win more constantly, because I can see that you know how to fight. You're not scared. Like all of these things are really good, especially in solos. But you need to find the right balance between being stupid and doing something like super safe. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be in between. You need to
Right.
find your in between.
Okay.
It's gonna help you. Like this small detail is gonna make you win more games. Because there you're doing a lot of like stupid play. You know, like running and jumping on people as if you were like fucking Peterbot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I respect the play style, you know, but that's most likely the reason why you're not like winning every game.
Mhm.
I mean, from what I've seen from this game, maybe you're playing worse normally, but there you're playing quite good. Like you're good mechanically and all that. You understand where you have to be. There you go first. Make sure that you look back. Like for now, this is clean, except the fact that you want to jump everyone. Are you by yourself when you play, or are you with your friends?
Here I was just by myself here. In opens I'm in a call, but finals I was
Okay,
just
okay,
by myself.
okay. Just making sure because sometimes as well, this is the reason why you're jumping on people. You know.
Mhm.
Okay, this is a risky one. I think the second dash is wrong. You should reach front on the second dash, or after the first, you make a pose and then you do the second one. You know what I'm saying? Because like there, your dash is really fucking risky. Like there, you could get fucked. I don't know if you did it on purpose or if you fucked up like your inputs, but yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, keep your question for later, please. For after. I will stay a bit more than 12. Like that's my fault. We took a long time on this one. That's my fault. So I will stay a bit. 1, 2, 3 questions. Okay, reaching from. Okay. Okay, so now you're 2, 2, 3. There, this is a great timing to start thinking about where you can get a refresh and where you can position yourself to get it, right?
Right.
Okay. Because now you don't need bad. So you don't have to, like, you don't have the only choice to commit and jump into some, you know?
Mhm.
You can decide where you want to put yourself. So, like, elevated, either you stagger and look front, either you go front and look back, either you just box fight, get like front side, you know, this kind of stuff. Okay. There, it's a bit more. Okay, that was a bit questionable angle. Like, you go in the middle of everyone. I'm not a huge fan of that. I think this is not the best timing to go in the middle of everyone when you're not the first. Like, it's kind of hard. So there you should have went more on the side. So either like from full side of left or from side of right. But like if you're in the middle like this, then you just try to reach a side or make a pose, because doing everything on in once when that's gonna be better players is gonna be super hard for you. Like look there, like there you should actually be like fucked, you know? That's 16 people in the game. There you should get fucked. You should get shot at and shit, you know?
Mhm.
Okay, this is good. We look up. I like that. Okay. Okay, their mistake. You shouldn't be ramping on the guy. You should be playing like far away from him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
like you don't want to be like on him. You want to be like away from him. If you are doing this play, then you face go front and go away and just like 90 up, like the same play that you did but from front. Then there you have high ground because this guy gonna try to go, but you can disconnect him because your front is back. You understand?
Yep.
So now you don't have more phase. Good awareness, really good. Getting a refresh, phase back, boom. 100 phase, perfect. Since you get him. By the way, small tips for people that are in duos. If you're about to die, if you want to grieve someone, just drop the phase before you die, so he's not getting 100. Okay, you see this guy is nomad. And like there you go blindly. You're not
That's funny
scouting.
as
You go
fuck.
insta, like you go front, but you don't check informations. You know, you need to take your time to check because there, if on the pool you're checking, then you know that this play is gonna work. You understand?
Yep.
It's like more controlled because it's
Right.
not about play. It's not about rotation. It's just about like small details. Okay, you see this guy on your wall. Oh wow!
I don't know what he was doing. This here I would have dropped my AR for the chugs, but I did not think of it.
Yeah, you should have. But I mean, in the hurry, it's kind of hard. But then you need to remember that if you run back towards there at some point for Elof, I mean, if you play Elof, yeah, like if you remember, or if you know that you might need these splashes, then you run back towards this when zone is closing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I was about to say maybe you will look up one day because I think you're an eye.
Yeah, I heard the kid on my tops from height drop.
So this I will go back to it. I will explain for everyone as well what I want to say about like all of these things. So there, for example, you know, this is where you could have go back for your what's it called,
Chug splashes.
for your
Other
splashes.
med kits.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, this kid went back like 30 seconds early.
Yeah, I mean the game is won anyway, most likely.
Right.
Were you stressed there when you were popping your mech kit?
A little bit.
Yep. No, you won. You won.
Mhm.
One day. What did I say? One day.
To look up at height. I had an
Oh,
on
yeah.
my top though. So,
Okay, yeah, this is something that you guys are doing like a lot at this skill level. You guys need to actually do a play at the end of second moving, right?
Mhm.
Like mid and second moving. You look either for low, either for high. So you have informations about what's happening. Because if you never look down or up, then you never know. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I would have looked at height, but I heard there was a kid on my tops, on my armored tops,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to risk him jumping on my head or anything.
Yeah. I see. I see. Okay. Do you guys have question about the game of that Eclipse did? What do we think about this game? Except the fact that we are talking to a psychopath.
I was zoned out about half the game.
You think I will get way better switching from 60s to 258? Yes, yes, yes.
A lot
yes.
better.
Yes. You wasted 2 mini mats. Yes, but it's according to his playstyle, kind of, you know? What can you do to find your in between? Limit test. So kind of do these things, you know?
The reason I think I'm so aggressive is I used to just like sit in bushes and just not be aggressive, and then I just got keyed and couldn't fight. So I just started being like super aggressive.
No, that's
I
a
never
good.
got to my in between though.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's taking time.
Right.
Sometimes you need to do this play, and sometimes you can just do it safe. You know?
Right.
How do you recognize people with bad movement? I mean, you see them. You see instantly if the guy is good or not. You recommend jumping in even if you're stacked but don't have win conditions? Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. I think so. If you don't, or it depends how stacked you are, obviously. Well, what is bad movement supposed to be? I mean, if the guy is like, I don't know, taking 6 years to edit, or like if the guy is super slow, or if the guy is doing bad edits, like bad peaks, all of these things. That's how you recognize. It's possible to win a game in finals without kills? No, not in this meta. Since I'm so good mechanically, but like aim and game sense is so bad, and me game I'm bad, but end game I'm really good and smart. Okay, then what do you want me to say? I don't understand. There's a lot of players that are like good mechanically. Like there is a lot of players that are really good mechanically, but I don't know what to say. What do I do? Practice, play scrims, and all of that. If people in front of me aren't rotating on time, what do I do? I mean, if you go insta, most of the time it's gonna be easy, to be honest, or like almost insta, and you just build them off if you need. A friend earned twice in this meta 2 seasons ago. This meta by stealing refreshes and having 0 kills. I mean, yes, but that's just luck. Do you pay attention to people if they get crack to jump in? Yes. So in solos and in duos as well, there is a priority order. So like one of them is like people that you look for, like people that are in wood, people that are fighting, people that are healing, builds that are not finished to build. This is the 4 priority that you need to look for when you look for a refresh. If you see some fucker in like first moving that is in wood, it is fucked. So you just jump in. There's nothing you can do. Then you can get the refresh. You get what I'm saying? Is it possible to win a game in final with just 1 kill? I mean, yes. Yes, if you get the kill, yeah. If you get the kill, yeah, it should work. If you're good, oh, that's not for me. What are you best for surviving, rotating the 2 first moving zones in the finals? Play on the side, play elevated, and scout. That's the best things. I just unlocked the God question, so yeah. What is your God question, Dan? What did you say? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I remember. I just looked up. Yeah, this is really important. In solos, you really need to look at all of this. How can I do if my ranten is stiff after max training? That's I don't know. Maybe just go see like a doctor or something. I don't know, bro. Like I've never heard someone telling me that his hand is stiff. Like you need to stretch. You need to. I don't know what to say. I thought it was solo glitching in the Joe Cash Cup. What do you smoke, bro? Bro is smoking, eh? Okay, guys, do you have any questions about this? What was the 4 refresh? Wood, people that are fighting, people that are healing, builds that are low. And you have to be elevated. Yeah, track guy is part of part of it. Wood, people fight, building, and then yeah, like body, people fighting. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like people cracked or whatever on phase rotation. It's kind of this, yeah. So you should help me on how to call. I mean, just do this. Look, Dayan did it, and he actually made earning. Eclipse did it, and they actually made earning. So you will call. You get more nervous the further into the game. Normally, you're not supposed to be nervous in game. You should be nervous before the game, but during the game, I don't think that. Like, I don't think you actually get nervous. When I speak to my players, they're not nervous during the game. They're nervous like before the game. Yeah, 4 superstar people made earning this week, which is a lot, a good ratio. If you look at how many we are in most of the sessions, like it's really good, in my opinion. Like if we are between like 25, 35, like 40 each session, that's really good. Like to have 4 people, you know? So it means we're doing the right things and we're explaining to you guys the right things. So if you pay attention to all of these things and practice, because we are giving you the tools and we are like, or if you want to do like the food comparison, we are cooking and you have to eat, but you cannot just have the food and look at it, you know? That's the same. Like if you actually like practice, you need to practice, you know? We cannot give you everything. Like we give you all the tools. Now that's you who have to build the thing, you know? We cannot build it for you. If you just sit there and watch the masterclass and don't practice, then you will never improve. You need to actually like learn.
Facts. You actually have to put in the fucking work. Facts.
Yeah, exactly.
Facts.
Exactly. We can all life coach you at the same time and be there for like every day, all day. If you guys are not putting any effort in the other side, then it's not gonna work. And I
That's
think they and
cooked.
our Eclipse can say, I think they're not just playing randomly once a year. They're actually like putting effort as well, or like practicing what we're talking about. You know? Are you playing scrims, Eclipse, like solo scrims, or you're playing both?
I was until I got banned from NA Opens,
Great.
but I've still been playing duo scrims and anything that I can find.
I played DJ scrims and solo nobles. 3 game sessions. Yeah, that's good. Zone rules a good practice for solo cash cup, like because there is no mid games. I think that's DJ who told me that. That's what Tyson did to prepare and to won the solo thingy, if I'm not wrong. Like the solo invitational or whatever it was, if I'm not wrong. So of course solo zone rules are and Evan Bill's zone rules. Because when you're okay, we're gonna take another like comparison. When you're playing football, right? Or soccer for American people. You're not playing match every day. You're not playing a game every day. You're practicing like specific things during the training, and then at the end you play the match. So if I don't know, if you play zone rules, then you need to know that yes, that's not going to be the same mid game. Yes, obviously, but you're playing it for Ospawn fight and for end game. You know, so like if you get experience and you see these things, then you can actually like compare and see like what you could have done, and see like okay, Sven, DJ, Blood, whoever is giving you advice, telling you you do that, you try. Okay, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Because I didn't do it right, or because I didn't understand. Okay, maybe I should ask. Then you ask, and we see it works. Then that's good. And it means like you understood, and then you do it once, like 2 or 3 times, and you see if it's working. Then you keep doing this, and then in game, then you see the situation. Then it's fine. You understand? That's how you have to prepare. Like when you go in tournament, this is like the same as going to football training. Like you're not playing the game all the time. You cannot just play scrims like realistic scrims because there's nothing more realistic than an actually stack endgame. Can someone DM me notes? I mean, that's going to be upload tonight normally. I'm going to try to upload tonight. Okay, do you guys have question? Do you mean never to get earning? Or but don't you need me in a certain level to get earning or get higher placement? I don't understand your question. Yes, of course. Of course you need to get a certain level. And this is you who have to practice. This is you're the one that has to practice on your side. You're getting the advice, you're getting the tools, then you're building. After globals, can you bring Reed and VOD with them? I mean we did that once already if I'm not wrong. I'm right, DJ, right? We did it, right? Yeah, we can do it again for sure, but I'm just saying, like, we did it already. Ready to go. How do I not rage that much from dying from PS4 players? Because I raged last game, the game before. I mean, just don't take 50-50s. No problems, DJ. I like this session. That was cool. Did you guys like it, by the way? Because it was really different than what I do normally. I don't do like solos normally. Like it's a bit different. You guys enjoy it? Do you learn things? Great. DJ, you learn? What did you learn, DJ? You send me your notes after. No, we'll see. Yay, good. Good. I learned I should play zero. That's true. That's true.
In your eyes, there's a heavy blue. Want to love and want to lose. Sweet divine, a heavy truth. Water or wine, don't make me choose. I wanna feel the way that we did that summer